just realized the brilliance of this video editing. What I could do is just take the first bit of the video and make that into a short, because I was just saying something and I really looked at the time and go, oh, this could be a short. And so I did that, you know, and I could do that. But you see, the point is that it's not doing anything like that at all. This is the real nuts and bolts on the ground. So I'll just repeat that point. That'll be inserted in before this video in the playlist. So it was ironic that the phone battery level went down to a point that it turned the video off just as I was coming to my point, that I was sort of meandering all over the point, because it was just a very simple point, and the contrast reflection, I thought, is what that was all about, yeah? So not doing something that's going to be in the slightest bit contrary to what I'm trying to achieve is fundamental, and it's deep seated in the recognition of how much time something will take and how much focus is involved with it, and what the outcome is likely to be, ideally or hopefully. What are you doing this for, and what are all the pros and cons, and what's the worst case scenario, and what's the likelihood, what's the actual likelihood, particularly based on the evidence that is lying everywhere. I'm leaning against it, down with this. This is my monumental breakthrough there. Don't do that. It's all dodgy. Batteries don't hold charge overnight, so you've got till about 4 o'clock if you want to charge phones or use inverter charge power tools. Dirty. I think it was set up. Got this over here. So that's like an ideal for now, yeah? That's like an ideal, even though it shouldn't fucking be there. That's not ideal, but that's the stasis now. But it was much more in the worst case scenario, kind of like what's over there, you know? So yeah, that's a big point. But the irony is not lost because it's in the minutiae. I'm going with that word because it was micro macro for me, the reflection between the two. So going into the intrinsic interconnectedness of the micro macro, because it was pointed out to me in 2004 that everything in the universe is reflected in micro and macro, like everything. So it just clicked, made sense for me. So I've always seen that, and then it's the thing about the mystery of the moment holds the key for me. So that's where I've got to find the power. It's a source of power. The key is the knowledge of understanding, which apparently that's what the Holy Grail was, the knowledge of understanding. That's why it couldn't be found anywhere. There's no cup to be held and say, oh, I've got it here. It was the knowledge of understanding. The value, like that's kind of like the thing about wisdom, yeah? And then I read something, one of these Chinese banners hanging down, I've never seen this particular one before, saying wisdom was a combination of intuition, experience, and knowledge. And I thought that's quite interesting, because wisdom is knowledge applied, like naturally applying the knowledge. That's wise. Otherwise you're living and go, oh, hang on a minute. So you got the hindsight thing again and again and again until you get wise and you recognize it. And you're always going to have that more from a peaceful heart or a loving heart. And somebody wrote something, some comment of Rick Levine, which sort of inspired me and made me share it. And it's just saying, please can we just remember to breathe in and then breathe out through our hearts. If we do that, then everyone will have a peaceful heart. And it's a long time since anyone said that. I heard that a long time ago, and then I just adopted. That's how it is for me, by default. And I realised it's been years since I've heard somebody else say that or read somebody else say that. It's been years. So what the fuck does that tell you about the people that the 5 or 6 people that you spend most of your time with in most of your life? They reflect who you are. Well, I don't know if there is that kind of demographic with me because I'm so Gemini. So that headache, I had to sit for about another 20 minutes or so after the phone battery went flat. And then I got up and come down and charged the phone on my ultra fast charging. And then it's 100% now. So in the time that it took to do that, which is long enough, then I just was looking around, just taking stock of it, and I did engage in one section around the back that I just transferred. So I'll show that now because this phone's at 100%. And I'm standing here and I want to finish this and get on to other stuff. So I didn't have time to do this. I was just taking stock of what this is. What is this? You know? And this has been cleared up. I've been clearing this stuff up actually. I have been clearing this up. And so I ended up around here. Look, there's this letterbox is lying over there and the dog knocked over. I'm like, what the hell is this? You know, this Indian Sadhu. I just cleared his headache like last night with this other dude. Like what I was saying about he showing me the video of where he's at, and I thought, okay, well, I'll engage with you and say, all right, so this is where I'm at. What are you doing this for? Is the question now I present to you. This is where I'm at and why and how and that and when and all this long ago, but now it's like why, what? So ask you why, what? But that is the that is the motivation for the response, because when he was sending me a video going like looking around this, so this is my workshop, like, it's all very tidy, and he's got this house and it's all very infrastructure based, like he's stable and steadfast, so it's like all the time getting lost in messing around with tools and then driving and all that kind of stuff. So why are you doing this? What's your underlying drive? Your art of living, your creative expression. So that cleared this headache, you see, in me when he said certain things. I think there's 3 sentences he said, and there were 3 waves. Boom, 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 sort of going up that way, just like these bands, sort of like a belt, down like that. 1, 2, 3. So I'm becoming quite sensitive to this, and it might be Neptune's placement in the sky to make me more sensitive, or it might just be I've been this way my whole life but not being sensitive to feeling it, and becoming sensitive to it through lack and the emptiness and the abstinence and the discipline and the acceptance. Just settle. It is what it is, 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 what it is. And to be talking about something like this would give me a terrible headache and make me feel, I just need to lie down, and give me a really busy mind and stress. You know, if a friend was to come around who just popped in, for instance, and so I welcome you, okay, and a cup of coffee or tea, you know, how's it going? And so to say I haven't seen them for a few years, and they just happened through Brisbane, and you know, they lost their phone 2 years ago, whatever. But you know, they just thought I'd see if I'm here, and then my bus is still here, and yeah, my bus is still here, yeah. And so they ask questions and questions and questions. They end up with a fucking headache, busy mind, really stressed, kind of fatigued in my brain and nervous system worn out, and then they leave. Whereas maybe the last time that they saw me even could have been like 2016, let's say. Let's say that people saw me in 2016, 17 Woodford, and then they had no idea that I broke down driving out of Woodford and got towed back here. And the big thing about what I was saying is like recognizing back then, okay, I'm not spending any more money on this or even trying to do this, not even stripping it back to clean it up and have a good look at it until I got the money to do it properly. I know what's involved, I know what I need to do, I don't need to do all that stuff. I need to have the resources to do it properly like I used to. I mean, like properly, not this fucking around like why is it suddenly I attract all these bad people in my life that say they're doing something and then they and then they go and do something else. Well, and then they eventually get done, like just madness. But then they're the ones that have the old knowledge and have the drive. So it's all been a magical experience. And I'm not going to go off on some other tangent, but there is a thing there with that. It came up because there's a point of coming to peace with that and people. And I did actually, was just here because I just cut my foot. This is what I do. So I sorted this out a lot. This was just a clusterfuck and I just made it quite a lot better. But there's just found like there's some stuff that it's worth putting inside there and a few things in there. And that thing, the rest of it, and then there's some nice art pieces and stuff here, nice mirror, and singing sewing machine, and then some metal and some good hinges there for the gate. So that's what's worth taking from here, and having here as a thing that is, it's either this belongs to this Indian sadhu, who's a beautiful spirit, but he's mad and he's insane, and did this thing to help him like 2 weeks ago tomorrow. I haven't seen or heard from him since. And this is all his shit, like he's mad. The point I'm making here is it's all like a clusterfuck. And so I've been dealing with this for the time to take my phone to charge, pretty much. And then down here we have these imprints, and I reached in to get this right at the back, and I spoke the words out loud to the dogs or to myself as I'm reaching all in here. I go, no wonder I'm weighed down by all this shit as I'm lifting up. And my big toe has imprinted into the ground here. And there was a stone. See, like that's my whole body weight has gone into the ground there, and there's something sharp. It felt like I've been stung, but it still feels like I've been stung, but and I may have, because that's pretty firm in there, so I may have squashed something and stung this. I'm not sure, but anyway, it feels like I've been stung, but there's a little bit of blood and it looks like an incision. It may have actually just been that. I can't tell if that's a piece of rust or just broke apart. Yeah, see, it's all rusted and stuff here, so it could have just been something like that just cut in, yeah. See, there's little flakes. So that's what stopped me. And now I'm like trying to tell the dogs to get out of the way. All of a sudden, all the dogs are here, right in the danger zone, where I'm thinking I've just been stung by something, and or cut, like there's something sharp sticking up. So I was sort of yelling at them to get out of the way whilst I'm swearing at the pain, and sort of whenever I hurt myself, I throw myself. I'm like, ah, fuck. And so I've been like this for a bit. Having sorted out something there, it cleared something in my brain. Nerves, like not holding together in a tangled knot like a dreadlock. Having to then give the dogs who are extra Suzuki and thinking they're in trouble and stuff, even though they're trying to check on me and smelling my blood, etc. Then I had to stop and sit down here and give them some time on my home. And then, you know, suddenly I looked at this as a more beautiful thing, and that was more beautiful. And this dog here was the one that I really had to, because she was up in there having a look too. And she's like got this thing about biting my hand, you see? No biting, don't bite.